We are back with a new episode of D&D. I'll be your Dada next door as usual, Tracy Kajuju. I'm here to feed you with the latest juice, the latest tea, the latest gossip, literally anything you need. So keep engaging with us on our social media pages, that is Kelele TV on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So on Piping Hot, this is where we talk about trending topics of the day and of the week. So we saw recently Christian Dela, this issue surrounding him and his mom. So his mom came out to speak about how they have been separated for so long. Apparently, Christian Dela cut his mom off. And the mom was crying out saying, I need my son back. I don't understand why he cut us off. He's cut off his family and all that. So in response, Christian Dela did not make like an official statement, but he kind of posted, he's a blogger, so he did a blog post about signs of toxic parents, and he highlighted 7 signs of toxic parenting, which really got me thinking a lot. Are we able to recognize toxicity in our parents? Anyway, we'll come back to that later. So another drama that has been going on is Amira and Jamal. If you're an Instagram person, you definitely know them or you've probably heard of them. So they're those people who are not shy to put out their relationship drama on social media. And I said last time, keep your relationships out of social media, but you guys don't listen. Anyway, so Amira was so glad to announce that the divorce is finally official, but she had some things to say about it. She was like, I'm glad this is finally over, but you guys should know this man was abusive. She claimed that he beat her up, and that led to her having a miscarriage. And in response, Jamal came out to defend himself, claimed that he did not beat her and he never ever assaulted her, and that she's just doing it for clout chasing. So at the moment, we don't know who is telling the truth, but we'll just take it as it is, and you take it as it is. So looking in international news, at least something a bit positive. Rotimi and Vanessa Mdi, these are they're like our favorite celebrity couple. And they recently welcomed their baby number 2. Her name is Imani, and you know how Rotimi can get with words. And he posted like 3 posts all about praising his wife, congratulating her, and it was so cute. As we come to look at toxic parenting, and also in the spirit of celebrating International Women's Day, we have a special, amazing, lovely guest with us on the show today. And without going any further, I'll allow her to just say her name and probably tell us a little bit about toxic parenting. Hi, Alakiir.
Hi, Tracy.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also fine. Mm-hmm. We are so happy that you could join us today.
Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're talking about toxic parenting, maybe just to know, do you think we are able to identify toxic parents, especially in our African culture?
I think with the generation that we're in right now, it's very easy for you to detect where your parent is being toxic and where they're not, and where they're just trying to maybe teach you something that you should learn from. But we also have a very hard-headed generation. So sometimes we could be mistaking toxicity with something that your parents are trying to teach you. But I've also learned even from my parents, sometimes when they're trying to teach you something, it comes off very, very, very toxic. So I think to an extent, I relate with what Christian Dela is going through, because our parents can be a lot, especially the African culture, and generational trauma is real. But I feel like with this generation, we are able to work through it because we've identified generational trauma and how we don't want to be subject to that, and how, because we're the next generation of parents, so you also don't want your kids to go through that. And so I think that toxicity can be identified within our parents in the African culture.
And what about holding them accountable? So once we identify it, are we able to hold them accountable, or we just know that they're toxic and we can't do anything about it?
No, I think we should hold them accountable. It's not even about being able to. I think you should hold them accountable despite the consequences. The only thing is we live in a country that also doesn't have laws where we can hold our parents accountable, because you could go to the police station, they tell you, but huo ni mama yako anajaribu tu kukufundisha, and our parents in the African society always have an upper hand. That's where it becomes difficult to hold them accountable. But if you're able to sit your parents down and tell them, okay, mom, dad, what you guys are doing is making me feel a certain type of way, or it's doing certain type of things to me. Like, I feel like it's also important for us as kids to also educate our parents to an extent.
Yeah, and also speak up.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because I feel like the problem is it's not even that we're not able to identify it, is we are not able to speak up even once we identify it. I feel like we have grown up in a generation where feelings were not really a topic of discussion in our homes. You just talk about important things. You talk about food, basic needs, education, but feelings and emotions, I don't know if it was the same for you, but we'll come back to that later.
For sure.
Yeah, so we have been celebrating Women's Day. We did that on 8th March. That's why we thought of having a guest who we think is breaking barriers as a woman. That's why we have you, Alakiir. So maybe you could tell our audience about you. Who is Alakiir Dao?
Alakiir is a young 19-year-old South Sudanese girl. I have grown up here. So I'd say maybe half South Sudanese, half Kenyan. I have also, I don't know, when it comes to talking about me, it's a topic where you're like, okay, what do I say and what do I leave out? Do I say the negative? Do I say the positive? But I also think I am an easygoing person. I enjoy interacting with people, but also introverted. I don't know what that is called. There's the word for it. I like my own space, and I am currently in uni, in my 4th year actually, pursuing international relations and diplomacy. I'm also the first female president of the university, doubling up as Miss Riara as well.
Oh, that's nice. That's actually interesting. So Miss Riara and the president, which came first?
Miss Riara came first.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did that come about? Were you like into modeling, or how did it come about?
I actually hated modeling growing up.
Okay.
Because there was this stereotype where everywhere I went and most of the people that I met would just tell me, you look like a model. Are you a model? You look like a model. Are you a model? So you see, back then, because of the stereotype that models have, I was like, okay, why is it that someone is just looking at me and they just see models? I never had a liking to it. But when I joined uni, there were certain aspects that I didn't like about how pageantry was being carried out and how the former Miss Riaras and the Mr. Riaras were, how basically their tenure came about, and seeing that there was nothing being done, because Miss Riara is about, giving back to society, giving back to community, just helping those in need. But none of that was happening. So I said, maybe it's something that I can change. So I remember telling my trainer, telling her from the beginning, I'm like, what happens when it comes to this pageantry thing in this school? Because I've seen there's a Miss Riara, yes, but I'm not seeing the progressiveness out of it. Like, I'm not seeing her doing anything either for the school or for people in need. Where's the output? And as she was explaining it to me, I said, you know what, I think I can change something about this. I think I can also help the school see that, you know what, pageantry is not just about being able to walk down a runway. It's about your brain. It's about how you see people, your kindness, your heart. So I said, you know what, maybe this is something that I should try out and see what happens. So I tried it out, although it was the most frustrating thing I've ever done in my life. It was so frustrating. But I did it, and I put everything in it, and I ended up getting it, and it's been amazing. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you won at your first try?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Then you're meant for it. It's like those things that you try to resist.
Try to avoid, yes.
Or avoid the rest of your life, but they just follow you. Because if you won at your first try, it means that it was something you meant.
Yeah, and it actually changed my entire perspective on modeling, because I think just me heeding to what people were saying is what exactly was putting a negative mindset towards modeling. But I believe that if you're modeling for a cause, then you're definitely doing something with your life.
Yeah. And then you have the passion.
Exactly, yes.
And then after now you're becoming Miss Riara University, you're like, don't stop here. I have to keep going. So what pushed you to like want to become the president of the uni?
Almost about the same thing as going for Miss Riara.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I also wasn't into leadership. I used to come to school, go home, school, home. But I saw certain aspects that I just didn't like about the leadership that was there, and the kind of service that students were being given. And I remember even after discovering that, I still said, no, you know what, this is not for me. But I also had a group of people who told me, no, you're actually passionate about this. It's just that you don't see it, so go for it. So it was a leap of faith. Mm-hmm. And even after I vied for it, I was still 50-50. Wasn't sure if I should actually campaign for this. Should I not campaign for this? Should I actually put my ideas out there? How will students receive it? Will I be able to give out what I'm saying I'm going to give out? Like, will I be able to put it into action? And the day for the debate came, and we're debating with my opponent and everything. And the reception that I got gave me hope. I was like, okay, I think the students are actually behind me at this point, so I need to give them what they have given me to do. Like, this is my job, so which means I need to give an output, like a proper output. So election day came, and let me tell you, I was so nervous. I was like, okay. And there was opposition that had come in 50-50, so they had to go again. So I was so sure it was me and my opponent, and when the results came out, I had gotten 98% of the votes.
Wow.
And my heart almost stopped. I was like, wait, what? What just happened? Like, this is actually real. Like, I actually spoke my mind, and students heard me and they believe in me. So right now it's time for me to act. So from there, I made sure that I do my best, not only working towards helping other female students gain their confidence in leadership, because student leadership, a lot of the times, especially in Kenyan universities, is dominated by men.
That's true.
It's dominated by men. So you see, when you're coming in, I am a first-time student leader, and I'm holding a beauty pageant position. On top of that, I'm also the first international. So you see, there's a lot being navigated. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to be received with all of this on my plate? And also being able to give an output to my students, and also being able to serve the administration as well. So there's a lot that I needed to balance. And on top of that, I have to balance my education. So there was a lot in that thread that I just had to balance out. And thankfully, I think I've tried.
How has the pressure been? Because I can't imagine myself being able to do all that.
Honestly, I don't even know how I'm sitting here smiling right now. Because the
school.
pressure,
Remember there's
school as well, and you have to perform.
Yes.
You have to perform, because there's also certain criteria that you need to have as a student leader, and you need to be able to maintain a certain CGPA. So you see, even if you're going for meetings, even if you're going for events, even if you're planning for events, there's a certain criteria of school that you also need to maintain. You have to make sure you've attended your classes, because they don't accept you just because you're president. No. Because you have a 75% class attendance. You miss that with no explanation, you miss your exams, which means you miss the time you're supposed to graduate and all of that. So there's a lot to make up for. So there's times when I sit and I will breathe in and out so many times. You'll want to cry, but you can't cry. You'll want to laugh. You'll want to scream. You don't know where to start. You literally don't know where to start. So you just end up sitting and you're like, you know what? This is in God's hands. And I think also one of the biggest things that's helped me is just staying close to God. So anytime that I felt like the pressure was getting too much, I would actually just pray. just sit in my room and just pray. That's mostly how I've been able to navigate through all the pressure, because students are not easy.
Okay. So being a South Sudanese girl in Kenya, has it impacted or influenced your journey in any way, or it's just been normal and okay?
I think being South Sudanese, growing up in a different country with people who don't necessarily understand where you come from, has shaped who I am today and the kind of mentality that I have. Because I remember as a child back in primary school, there was a lot of sly comments and bullying going on, and they would go through skin tone, the stereotypes of South Sudanese. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. There is certain criteria where you're told, we can't give you this because you're South Sudanese, or you can't get this because you're South Sudanese. Or also thinking that everything that you have now is because of who your father is and how your name is associated with your dad and everything. So I think just growing up in that light has helped me be able to understand that certain things have not been taught yet, and it's up to me to also teach people how to treat me. And it's up how I carry myself will show how other people will treat me at the end of the day. So yes, I think it's shaped who I am today.
Oh, all right. Yeah. And we had mentioned about toxicity in African families and growing up or in your childhood. Were you able to... Did you ever encounter anything of the sort, or how was your childhood like? Did you have like very supportive parents, or how was it?
My parents have always been very supportive with most of the things that I want to do or have wanted to do, especially in terms of education. Because I've seen people who, when you tell your dad, I want to pursue this and this, he tells you no. You're better off at medicine, you're better off at law, you're better off at this. But for me, it came very naturally. I just told my dad, what, I want to do this is what I want to pursue with my life. And he told me, just make sure you don't let the pressure get to you. And when you ever feel like the pressure is getting to you, take it easy. So my parents have always been very easygoing. Although when I was younger, I never used to understand. I used to be like, I have such strict parents. I have such, why are they like this? Why are they telling me no? Why are they telling me this? Why are they telling me that? But thinking back now, most of what they did back then was to shape me into who I am today.
Yeah, it was actually out of love.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really amazing to see that you have always been able to go after what you want, and you had the support of your parents. Yeah, because I believe in most African families, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
Most of us were affected in a way or another. Maybe we wanted to pursue something, but we didn't. And those of us who managed to do it, they just had to be hard-headed enough to go against their parents. But so far, your journey feels very inspiring to me already because of the bold steps you took. I honestly can't tell you what I did with my life in university. I don't know. I just remember watching movies and sleeping.
No, trust me, it's most people. That was me the entirety of first year. That was me, yeah. So,
as a young female leader, is there anyone who has inspired you, or someone who you've this woman? Yeah.
I'd say my mom. I've seen my mom fight through the craziest things. My mom actually walked from Ethiopia to Kenya with my oldest brother. And she's never given up. She's built herself literally from the ground up. And she's navigated through so many things in life. There's so many things that have been thrown at her. And every time she talks or every time she advises me, I'm like, okay, one day I want to be half the woman you are. If not better, half the woman you are.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to moms, right?
Shout out to mom.
So... you were a teenager a few years back. Okay, you're still a teenager. I wanted to say when you were a teenager, but then it hit me. You're still a teenager. Anyway, what would you say to your 14-year-old self, saying that you have made so many strides in such a short time? What would you say to your 14-year-old self?
I'm glad you didn't give up. Because if I think back to me at 14, I was what? I don't think you'd even recognize who I am right now, because I was very closed off, very shy, my confidence was at an all-time low. So I'd say I'm glad you didn't give up. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. We're also glad you didn't give up. Otherwise, we wouldn't have you here today. Okay, you've already mentioned your mom being your greatest inspiration. But I would assume that after people watch this episode, they're gonna want to know more about Alakiir. Where can we find you? Are you big on social media? Are you like?
Not really. I think social media for me is for fun.
Okay.
It's for fun. But I guess on Instagram, it's just Alakiir. Yeah, that's it.
Instagram,
Gosh,
you don't
that's
have
it.
Twitter?
No.
How?
No.
Every Gen Z is on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
No.
How? you are cut from a different cloth.
No, I think I'm only active on Instagram, and that's also once in a while.
Okay, because you're a busy woman.
There's that, yes, but what they can find on TikTok is my skincare page.
Okay.
It's called Kosi Skincare. That's what they can find on TikTok. But any other social media platform, no.
Okay. So you've heard from Alakiir. You can find her on social media at Alakiir in case you want to draw some inspiration from her. So yeah, I really enjoyed this segment featuring a very special and amazing woman. If there is a woman you want to appreciate in your life, let us know in the comment section. And as always, keep engaging with us at Kelele TV on all our social media pages. Please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And stay tuned for what we have coming next. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's all for today.